You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Thomas coming to you from Arkansas, and this show is It's Me, God, coming through the voices of Carl out there in L.A. and Jake, too, in New Zealand there today.
That's Zolim on the sound.
Zolim, yes.
Okay, good. All right. We're really going to have a fantastic show today because of everything that's leading up to it. That's the way God works through all of the manure that comes into our life, all of the crap and all of the problems that you face. You still were going to be able to find laughter and fun if you just realize that God's still in control, if you just get out of his way. So we're going to go into this. I went to a show this week on, it's the movie God is Not Dead, or God's Not Dead. And I cannot urge you enough to go see this movie, because here is a freshman college student who is being told by his professor, you either declare God is dead or present a debate that if you don't do it right, you're going to fail. And how he presents this discussion, I was just really amazed at how he came across as a believable freshman college student faced with this dilemma, and he presents a very well-prepared, effective debate. And he brings in the Big Bang Theory, and he brings in Darwinism and all these other philosophical theories. And he does in a way that you go, yeah. So I recommend that those of you who do not really accept or believe that there's a God, go with maybe with the believers, so that even after the show you can continue the discussion, especially if you find something that the student presented that maybe has holes in it and you want to be able to give your own debate on this. But anyhow, see the movie. I can't say enough about this movie, God's Not Dead. Tremendous movie. The acting was just awesome. Okay, very believable. He had you believing he was this freshman college student who was presented with this dilemma. But one thing about seeing this movie, though, has led me to bring up something that I have not really focused on this show, because I wanted you to know, I've told you from the very beginning, I'm not out to prove there is a God. I'm just wanting you to know that there is a God who, through my experiences, I believe in a God because of his love and the way that I've experienced that love. So I want you to know that there's a God who knows how to, because of love. So I haven't brought up that for me, anyhow, and for myself, and remember, each walk is personal. So I'm not here to tell you what to believe, only to share my stories. But for myself, in my belief of God, and for all the fullness that God has for me and he wants me to have, my belief includes that there is this person called Jesus, who is his only begotten Son, and who was sent to this earth because of God's love. Not only did he send Jesus, there was this also third personality that's a part of God. That's the Holy Spirit. And so why did these two have to come? And how can I say that they too are real, just like I'm saying that God is real in my life? Again, the body is the proof. Because we are this physical body, but it's nothing, the zombie, without emotions, without a spirit or personality, or without our thoughts or intelligence, all of which makes us who we are. But can we be who we are without any of these traits of the emotions or personality or intelligence, without any of these traits in the human being that we are? And that's the way I feel about God, that he cannot be God without the other two parts or personalities of God, Jesus, his Son, and the Holy Spirit. And that's how I can accept that concept of three in one God. And I think that's what God meant when he said, at least for me, that he said, let's make mankind in our image. That we have to include in mankind emotions, a spirit or personality, an intelligence, and a free will. And that's what it's all about. That's what makes us a human being so able to live in this life. And that's why we have to have all of this if we want to have a life, though, that we can survive in this life. And so that's what brings us to, last week we said we were going to talk about heaven. And is there a heaven, or where is there a heaven, or what is a heaven? And that's what we're going to get into with our discussion. So first of all, I'm going to bring in Carl or Jake, either one of you, or Zalem, if you're there, to what is your thoughts about what is heaven?
I was moved by Einstein that the speed of light is when you approach what speed of the light itself, when you move at the speed of light, time essentially stops. And so I always loved that there was a timeless realm imagined by both science and traditions of religion, where it was essentially eternal, that light speed is essentially an immortal state. And so that is very much a physical reality, that the starlight and all the stellar energy of the heavens, that our universe, our galaxy, all that light exists in a timeless realm.
Okay, so it's for you, the heavens is the allness of the universe. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been very moved seeing the new show Cosmos with Neil Tyson. They've sort of taken up Carl Sagan's old story and updated it. And it's interesting where both I take exception to how they tell the story, but also it's wonderful to see, what they admit of the spiritual inspiration of the heavens, but also the physical properties of the universe itself seem to reflect the most ancient mystical ideas about the heavens. And I very much believe in, a timeless realm. If you're out there moving at light speed, you're one with the stars and the heavens, and for all intents and purposes, immortal.
Okay. Carl, what's your definition of heaven?
Well, I mean, I believe that it's a place that's eternal and wonderful and rewarding, and I believe it's, people, like everybody tends to believe it's up there somewhere in the sky, versus, and hell's down and all that. So, I don't know. I mean, it's like I have the stuff that I get taught with, which is from a Catholic point of view, and even there, we don't really define it. We don't say, oh, it's specifically us floating on a cloud and looking at a bearded guy and saying thanks all the time, forever. But that's sort of the idea people somehow got out of it a lot. And personally, I've always had a problem since I was a teenager, even though I totally am a believer in general about everything. I have a problem with the idea of just sitting on a cloud forever. I think it's kind of boring to me. I mean, it beats the alternative of like fighting off a bunch of 7-headed dragons that are out to tear you apart limb by limb in a lake of fire that we hear about for hell. But
a little more exciting.
Which that is a little more exciting, as Jake said, but not quite. But I definitely wouldn't want to be constantly tortured forever. But I think that when I was in high school, here's the thought that I like the most. That when I was in high school, I went to a Catholic boys' school in Little Rock, and it's notorious, that school, Little Rock Catholic High for boys, for having what's known as the Catholic High Curse, because the former principal of many years that was there when I was still there, named Father Tribu, he would always say that, mark my words, be prepared. You think your life's forever, but be prepared. You never know when your time will come, and you have to face God's judgment. And so he said that within 5 years, every class, for as long as he could remember, had somebody die within 5 years of graduation. And meanwhile, in public schools, of course, there's much bigger schools and people aren't probably paying attention as much to whether people are living or dying. But at least the word around town was well, geez, some of these public schools have 5 times the graduating class and nobody dies within 5 years. What kind of a curse is this guy putting on us? But sure enough, about a month after our graduation, one of our classmates was messing around with a shotgun and unfortunately shot himself and died.
Yeah.
And we had a rather immediate class reunion at which everybody was quite shaken. And Father Tribu gave the sermon at the service, and he's at the Mass, and he said that, I don't know whether it was his idea or something famous, but he said that he was drawing on, but he said that heaven is like whatever our favorite noble thing on earth is, like that's not evil or sinful, whatever our favorite things on earth are, we will have all we want of it, like for eternity.
I agree.
Like for me, I would be able to make movies and watch movies forever, and totally enjoy doing it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Okay.
For you, let's see, you love fishing. You have the greatest fishing for eternity. That kind of thing.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
All right, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to cut you off because I want Zilam.
Hello. Yes.
Is he there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm right here.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, do you think that heaven is a place where we go when we die or begins at the end of our life?
No. Actually, I think heaven exists very, very, very deep within, just as the Holy Spirit lives deep within. And, at the end of our physical vessel's life, we do, go into sort of like we reach out into our consciousness. In a way, I guess you could say I do believe in reincarnation, but that's beside the point. I believe that we are all one big consciousness, and so to say that, what that means is that I've have lived every single life that has happened before, and will live every single life that will happen, and that you and I have lived the exact same life, and not in the sense of like life, our physical aspect, but our consciousness is the same. And so therefore, what I feel is that heaven is the place where that consciousness not only resonates at its most pure form, but it's also where it's like a star. It just radiates love, energy.
That's interesting because you're tying into exactly where I'm being led to go with this.
Yes.
And that heaven, and for us Catholics,
right.
purgatory and hell is a part of life here on earth now. Mm-hmm. And if you wait till the end of your life saying, I hope I go to heaven, or I hope I don't go to hell, and if you don't know for sure, then somebody didn't give you the right message to you. Because here's where I'm going to go with first. I believe, and I know to be true, that God means it when he says, I am with you always. I am with you always. So this says to me that he is in my presence at all times. So if God is in my presence at all times, then, and if he lives, his residence is in heaven, then doesn't it make sense that it's a part of our life should we choose to have it a part of our life?
Exactly.
It's a choice. Like today, we had all kinds of little bitty things come at us, and ever since this radio idea on another concept or call that God put on my life to do has come, that I've been trying to do. All these things have been coming at me to pull me away from being able to do what God has asked me to do, but also to jar me and to stress me and to bring into my life things that I'm tired, I'm weary. And yet I have this choice of saying, big breath, God is here. I don't have to be stressed. I do not have to be anxious. This is a choice. That if I want to be walking in his presence, then it's a case of instant miraculous, just a change in the attitude that's in your mind.
I was just about to
Isn't
say
that awesome?
No,
That you
exactly.
can have a miracle right now simply by choosing